there, Scrapbooking Club. So this is our first kit of our 6-month series. It's called Peaceful Days, and it's in the holiday book. So I'm going to walk us through cutting, how we would cut for a kit. And then depending on feedback, I might not need to show this every time because the instructions that come with the kit are excellent. So we have a few pages of cutting instructions, and then there's pictures of the page and exactly where to put things and whatnot. There's no stamping in this kit. It's just simple adhesives and whatnot. So let's get started. It's called Peaceful Days. So what we're gonna do, what it always shows you is the front and the back. So these two sheets of paper are the same, but in this cut, it shows the front being the floral pattern, and then on this page, the front is actually the dotted or snowflakes. I'm not sure what it is. Snowflakes, I guess. So that's kind of nice. It shows you which side is which. So let me just grab a ruler. I'm gonna need a ruler. Okay, so the very first cut, I thought I had everything I need, but the very first cut is a diagonal. And I'm gonna put my papers over here. So to do a diagonal, the cutter is not big enough for a diagonal, right? It's only 12 or 12 and a half or whatever. So the instructions say this is the front and we're gonna cut it this way. All right, so, you know what? Honestly, this is my jam. I'm gonna fold it and then cut along that line. So a bone folder is better, but that will work too. All right, so I'm gonna also, even though this is the front, I am gonna use this side to cut because it's a little bit easier to see. And I'm gonna free form it with my scissors. So if you have like a super duper giant Carl cutter at your house, or you know, one of those larger cutters, you could just swoosh, make this cut. But I got rid of my Carl cutter, and so to do it the old-fashioned way. Okay, so there's our first cut, okay? So this says this is 2E and 2A. So I am gonna say that these are from the second page. Like, I guess 2 and, I'm gonna put it with 2. So I'm gonna have a pile 1, 2, and 3. So next we're gonna do the same piece of paper, different side. I'll try to keep everything in the frame here. Okay, so I'm gonna cut exactly the way it shows here. So it says we need 1.5 by 12 off the edge. So 1.5, that's gonna give me 10.5 over here. Do a little bit of math. And this is page 3A, it says, so 3, that's gonna go in pile number 3. And then another 1.5 by 12, so I'm gonna go over to 9. Now I use my cutter technically upside down. So you might be watching me going, what is she doing? But this is the only way I know how to use it. So if you use it the other way, then you can, you know, measure accordingly. Okay, so we got another 1.5. See, I don't technically have a 1.5 measurement here. I guess I do, but it's right where the white ends and the dark begins. So this one is 1.5 by 11.5. Okay, so I'm gonna chop that off. That is 2F, so that's gonna go in pile number 2. 4 1/4 by 10 3/4. Okay, so 4 1/4 by 10 3/4. And this is number 3, I think L, 3 something. And then we have 1 1/2 by 5 1/2. So 1 1/2 by 5 1/2. And this is 2C. And then we have 1 1/2 by 1 and 1 1/2 by 1. So we have 1 1/2 by 1. And that's 2H. And then 1 1/2 by 1. This one is 3G. Wow. Okay, so this is my leftover pile. So I'm going to put my leftovers over here. And then I'm going to go to the next page. So this is the next page. One side is doves and the other side is crumb cake pattern. So this is showing us that we want the brown side crumb cake up. So the first cut is 8 1/2 by 10. So let's go 8 1/2 by 10 1/2. Pardon me, 8 1/2 by 10 1/2. This is 2G, so that's going in my 2 pile. And then with my leftovers, oh man, that's small. 1/2 inch by, so we need 4 1/2 inch strips, all different lengths. Okay, so let's cut those 1/2 strips. 1/2. 1/2. 1/2 and 1/2. Okay, so one of them is 10 1/4. So 10 1/4. This one is page 1 for 1D. The next one is 9 1/2. 9 1/2. Next one is 8. And the next one after that is 6 1/2. So let's go 8. And 6 1/2. These are all for page 1. Now there is one more little cut here, and that's 1 1/4 by 2 1/2. So 1 1/4 by 2 1/2. And this one is for 3F. So 3. So these are my leftovers. I'm going to put them aside. Now the next one is the same crumb cake. We want 8 1/2 by 8 1/2. So let's go 8 1/2. And this one is scrap, so I'm putting it over here, by 8 1/2. And scraps. So this one is 2. That goes in pile number 2. Okay, next one is this one here with this on the back. So this is a whole bunch of strips. Oh my goodness. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 1/2 pieces. All right, so let's go. So we got 1/2. There's 1, 2. I'm measuring over here now. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're at 7. Okay, and then there's one that is 3/4 by 5. Okay, so 3/4. This one is now scrapped, so put it over here. 3/4 by 5. And this one is for page 2. Scraps. Okay, so let's start. There's 1, 2, 3 that are 12-inch length. Those are 3, 3, and 1. So 3B, 3K, and 1N. And then 1A. Oh, let me just slide to you. So 2 of them for the page 3 are full. 1N is 1/2 by 6.5. And then 1/2 by 5.5, and those are both for page 1. Next one is 10 inches. 10 inches, that's for 1, 9, 9, 9, 9. So we have 4 that are 9, and they are all for 1. So I'm gonna cut 2 at a time, because this cutter can do that. No problem for DSP. There's 2 and 2 more. 9 inches. Okay, and then 6 1/4. No, I think it's 6 3/4. Let me have a closer look. 6 3/4 by 1/2 inch. So we need 2 of those. That's the 2 that are left. 6 3/4. Okay. Scrap. And these are for page 1. Okay, and then we got the 2D. So the next one is cloud cover 2-tone cardstock. So let's see. This is everything in the kit, by the way. I should have shown you this, huh? So it looks like we're not using this. I don't know about that. That's maybe a background. Here's the cloud cover 2-tone. Okay. So we're going to use the dark side, which is hard to tell. This is the dark side. And we're going to do some 1 inch, 3 1/2-inch strips. Sorry, 1/2 inch. So 1, 2, and 3. And then by 5 and 5, 5 and 5. Okay, so we need 4 1/2-inch by 5s. So I'm going to cut 2 at a time. There's 1/2-inch by 5, 1/2-inch by 5. Those are all for the 1. The other 1/2-inch, page 1, the other one is 4 3/4 and 4 3/4. I don't know what we're going to be doing with the page 1 strips, but kind of intrigued. 4 3/4. Scraps. These ones are for page 1P and 1Q. And then 3D, we're going to get 7 by 7 3/4. So let's go 7. Scraps. 7 3/4. And scraps. This one is for page number 3. Let's see. Oh, we have a couple more here. So we're going to do the crumb cake 2-tone cardstock. So we're going to need the crumb cake 2-tone cardstock. And since I'm here, I'm going to get the pecan pie as well. Okay, so I'm assuming everything that we have left that's 12 by 12 will be backgrounds. Okay, so the crumb cake, we're going to do the dark wants us to do the dark side up. So we're gonna go 4 1/4, 4 1/4 down one side. Four 1/4 by 4 1/4 twice. So there's one. I hope these instructions make sense to you. Once you do one, it kind of, you're like, oh, I see what they're doing here, and then you get it. Okay, so these ones are 1K and 1V, so put those in number 1 pile. And then we're left over with this one. We're gonna do 3 1/4 square. So 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, and that is 1W. Put that there. Again, we're gonna do 4 1/4. We're doing 1J here, so 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. That goes in, that's 1J. And then this one is gonna be 4 by 5 1/4. So we'll go 5 1/4 by 4. And then it says cut diagonally this way. So I'm gonna go line up the corner. There we go. This is 3H and 3C. So those are gonna go in the number 3 pile. And then with this strip left, we're gonna do a 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. And this is 1X, so we'll put that in the number 1 pile. These are all scraps, so we'll put them over here. Next we have the pecan pie. We're gonna do 6 1/4 by 7 1/2. This is 3E, and then 6 1/4, 6 1/4 by 4 1/4. This sounds to me like a photo mat. This is 3L. Out of the leftovers, we're gonna get 3 1/4 scraps by 4 1/4. So we're working on the 3N3, and then 3M is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. And then we'll put the scraps here. Okay, we've done all the cutting. So I was gonna stop the video and then do start a video again to put the pages together, but I think I'm gonna keep rolling because that went pretty good, and hopefully the video won't be too long. These are the scraps we're left with. I'm gonna put them way over here so don't get mixed up. I think I can remove this, put this over here beside me. All the kits come with these photo mats, photo holders. Sometimes I add these, sometimes I don't. I'm gonna put them way over here to get them out of the way. I will probably use them today just because it'll help us when we're putting photos in later. Okay, so prepare for both pages. So first layout is gonna be, it's unfortunate that they're on either side. So I'm gonna need this pattern paper, the cloud cover, and this, I don't know what it's called, I guess splotchy. So it's this one. It's probably a nice, elegant name for that, and it's not splotchy, but I don't know what it is. And then, oh, this one. So there's our 2 pages. So looks like we have some Secret C and crumb cake for the other pages. Now, it doesn't tell you this in the instructions, but I always like to punch my stuff out. And on the back, it'll say project 1, 2, and 3. Isn't that awesome? So I'm gonna go ahead and pop out what I need for here, because then we're not hunting for it later. Okay, so we're gonna need this circle. And then unless I get really stuck, I don't really care about all these numbers, because you'll see it's pretty evident when we're doing things what is what. I'll show you what I mean. It's nice to have photos of the pages for sure. Okay, project 1, these little flowers or whatever they are all project 1. So I recently, with a couple of friends, we did the album kit. It's a whole year of pages, 24 pages, and Stampin' Up sells the, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and do the 2 and 3 while I'm here and just sort them. Stampin' Up did all the work, kind of like this, for all of the pages, and then we follow along in videos. That was fun. That was a huge undertaking. We did it in a few different different meetups because it was a lot of work, but it's kind of cool when you see how they organize it. It all makes sense, you know. It's nice sometimes to just sit and make a project and not have to come up with all the bits yourself. Okay, this one's project 2, so putting it in the 2 pile. This one's project 3. Now, sometimes you'll find that there's little nubbies on here, and if it really bothers you, you can use a sanding block or a file. But, oh, this is 1. This is 3. Pardon my arms. All right, this is 3. I should be doing it the other way so you can see what they are, but I want to be mindful of which pile what goes in which pile. So I'll show you as we go along what we have. So it's project 3. It looks like a tree. It's a little blue tree. Okay, so that one can go in the garbage. Oh man, there's, wow, there's 3 pages here of, this is the backing. And I'll tell you a secret, when I am on the road traveling, I use these for my background of pages. I know. Just because, like, why would you throw that out, you know? It's useful. All right, project 1. I think project 1 is going to be all about the circles. Get the feeling. Project 1. Project 1. 3. Project 1. You know what? These are stickers. That's what that is. So I'll set that aside. And they're not labeled with the project, so I guess we're just going to find them as we need them. These are all number 2. Number 2, those are little flowers. This is number 3. Number 3. These trees for project 3 are cute. I would never stamp 2-tone blue trees, so I think it's cool. All right. Project 1. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oops. You know what? It's okay. We'll figure it out. This is project 1. Project 2. I need to be a little more careful. Project 2. Sorry, ladies. I maybe should have done this ahead of time, but since it's our first time doing this, for some of you, it's your first time using one of these kits. So I thought it'd be better if you saw all of the, you know, all the prep. That's project 3. We're almost there. Project 2. And 2. 2 has lots of these little flowers. They're cute. Okay, project 2. So this one is done. I'll go in the garbage too. Okay, so prepare for both pages. So these are the background pages that we need. So I'm going to bring this one down. Adhere photos to 1J, 1K, 1W, and 1V. So what they're talking about is these. So I guess they want us to prepare for both pages. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that would be these ones. Now, if you really wanted to be organized and you have a problem, you know, visually watching what's going on, as you're cutting these, you can refer back to the cutting diagram and you can take a pencil and write 1J, 1K. But I did not do that because we have 3 that are 4 1/4 and 2 that are 3 1/4. So these 2 here, I'm willing to guess, are 4 1/4 square. And then there's this one on page 2 that's 4 1/4, 3 1/4, and then this little one here goes with, it's kind of like being a little bit of an investigator when you're doing this, but look. So I did not label all those. We're just winging it here. But if you want to take your time and do that, you definitely can. Do you know what I'm talking about? On the cutting diagram, as you're going through, you could take a little pencil and mark on each piece, you know, 1K. So you take a pencil and put 1K on here as you're cutting it. But I figure we can figure this out. So for an option here, they're showing you can emboss 1B, 1C. What they're talking about here are these. You can emboss these for a little extra interest with your embossing folder. It doesn't come in this kit. It is in the mini catalog, and a lot of you have it, so that's something you can do optionally if you want. I'm not going to do it right now, but here it says optional emboss by placing them. It lists which ones on the emboss folder one at a time as shown. Okay, so I'm skipping that step. We're going to assemble. Use exclusive Misty Moonlight splatter paper as your base page. Splatter paper, there we go. Adhere the cloud cover pre-cut circles. Okay, so cloud cover pre-cut circles would be these ones. And this kind of is bothering me a little wee bit. You know what? Let me grab some sanding blocks and just get rid of that. The other thing, you can use a nail file because I know Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell sanding blocks anymore. But sometimes you can get away with this. Actually, you probably can get away with this because half of it's covered with photo mats and whatnot. But it'll only take a second to just take most of the little nubbies off. So let's just do that quickly. Okay, so it says adhere the cloud cover pre-cut circles. Adhere 1A, prepared 1B, prepared. Okay, so when they say prepared, what they mean is the ones that you have run through, you've prepared them by running them through the emboss folder. Okay, that's a little bit better. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and stick these down. No time like the present. So I'm using the Stampin' Seal. You guys use your adhesive of choice. Okay, so now this is for people who really want things just so. This circle is 1 inch from the top. And it doesn't, yeah, maybe, well, 1 inch from the top. I'm going to guess roughly 2 1/4 inches from the edge, maybe 2 inches. So I'm going to show you how to measure this. This is not my jam though. So know that you do not have to be exact. Okay. So there's 2 inches over. And 1 inch from the top is about there. Okay. So you can look at this and go, oh, I'm going to slap her down there. Or you can measure it because it has all the measurements. Here again, 1.5. Oh, that's the actual photo mat. So it looks to me like this is resting right up against there and approximately there. So that's where I'm going to put it. All right there. And I'm not going to put it directionally any which way. Okay, so now it says adhere the strips. Okay, so 1A, 1B. This is probably, maybe I should have maybe done these strips. Oh man. You know what though? I'm gonna not go back and do that. I am going to put these strips where they should be, that I feel they should be. Okay, so this one looks to be about there. What's on the back of this? Okay, this one is a little bit longer. Oh my. This one's up here. This one's... Yeah, I'm thinking that maybe, okay, 1L. So this is why we're doing this together. When you're doing the strips, you know, disregard what I said about winging it with all the pieces you cut. You can do that with the larger pieces, but something like this is crazy. I would mark these. Okay, so 1L is 1/2 inch by 9. So I want 1/2 inch by 9. That's this one. So 1L is here. And then 1G, sorry. Okay, so it looks like those are touching. And then we're gonna do the same up here. We have this color, the cloud cover, and then the crumb cake, and then this one again, just over. Okay, and then 1, 2, 3, and then the 2 photo mats. So we are gonna do this and this. Basically, you put this the photo mat just over on the circle, but you can see 3 edges of that circle. Okay, and then Cherished and Loved is one of the punch outs that we're gonna use. So I am gonna put these down just where they are. I'm happy with where they are. Now, they're not measured, but that's okay. This one is over a bit. They're all touching from what I can see. Okay, and then we're gonna put the darker side of the crumb cake down. Now, if you like the lighter side, you can fill your boots. There's no wrong way, okay? So there's that. And I think these pages are kind of wintry, but the nice thing is, from what I'm seeing so far on this layout, you can do almost any pages that you want, any pictures, I mean. You know, it's pretty cherished and loved, could be any pictures, so. There we go. Okay. So it tells you step by step. Put down this, put down this. There's also measurements from the edge if you want to be exact. Embellish with pre-cut pieces and stickers as shown using dimensionals on some of the pieces. Indicated by drop shadows. Drop shadows. Okay, so I guess there's little shadows. It looks to me like the flowers are on dimensionals, but I don't, and maybe the hearts. Okay, so let's see what else we have here. There's some pieces here that were labeled 1, and I'm thinking they're from the other page, so we'll just leave them there. This dove is over here. I'm not seeing these leaves, but I'm guessing that they're this. So let's see, we need this one and this one for the bottom. I'm gonna overlap them a little bit, but not very much, because I want my pictures to be able to slide in there. Okay, and then we're gonna put that. We're gonna put that. We need 2 more. 1, 2. Over here. Again. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stick a dimensional under there just so it stays off the photo mat. A little trick. Just there. So it kind of holds it off. And then we're going to stick that down. With a dimensional. Looks like we have a smaller one over by the title. Guessing it's this. I'm going to stick this right down. One of the things about being in a scrapbook album, I know that sometimes things show up when they're popped up, but a lot of times they don't. So I do pop a few things up, but I'm not crazy about popping everything up. Okay, so let's put this dove down. I guess the embellishments are making it look more winterly, huh? I will say that. Okay, now we have 1, 2, 3 little pecan colored hearts. 1, 2, 3. And there we go. We have our first page. It's lovely. All right. So I'm going to flip the instructions here. We're on page 6. And let's set this aside and bring in the cloud cover hatched, cross hatch paper. Okay, so adhere the Misty Moonlight pre-cut circles. So there are 3 of them. And then adhere the 1L, 1M, 1N. LM. Okay, so here we are with the strips again. There's 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. All right. So let me prepare this since it's sitting there. I know just from the picture that it's going to go on here. So let me go ahead and stick that on. And then we'll move the photo mats over. So we'll bring in our circles. And let me prepare them a little bit. Sorry. Like I said, now that I'm showing you this in the next time I do a kit, I think what I'll do is get all the pieces punched out and prepare them. So you don't have to sit there and watch me do this because it's a little tedious. I know from watching videos, sometimes it's like, okay, lady, get going. Especially if you're, you know, you don't care to do this step. So, okay, there we go. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Now, again, if you care enough, you can go back and look at all the measurements. It's not that I don't care. I'm just gonna, I care more to get it down and done than to be exactly bang on. So that one's quite close to the top. This one is touching, and then this one is further down. So, and it's kind of lined up. Maybe it's over here a wee bit more. Okay, there we go. So now we're gonna do our stripes. And again, I'm not gonna measure everything. I am going to wing this. Wing, wing, wing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, see, this is what happens when you wing stuff. And this is what happens when you wing stuff and you don't read the instructions, but it's okay. You know, it's just okay. So what I'm going to do here is put this down here, and I'm changing it up a little bit because everything matches. It's not like it doesn't not match. So now I'm going to stick them down. I think it's cool that they're using these strips and they kind of highlight, you know, like this is going to go on there. So basically what the strips are doing is highlighting the photo. Oh, and this one shows it underneath there. That's interesting. Okay, well, let's do that. Let's put it underneath. 1, 2, 1, 2, and 3. Now, if I would have read the instructions, it probably would have said to do this first before putting the circle, but you know what? You do you. I'm gonna do me. Sometimes it leads me into hot water, but hey, we're scrapbooking. Like, come on. Gotta have some license to be creative, right? Use this little piece that I ripped off. And that's cool. I like that they changed it up by putting it under the circle as well. Okay. Oh, one more. Down here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're not going to do that one at all. Let's do this. This and this. Okay, so if you are cringing because mine do not match exactly, like I said, let me go back and say, when you are cutting your strips, when you're following the measurements and whatnot, my advice to you is to take a little pencil and draw on each strip what they are. Because then when you're reading these instructions and it says adhere 1L, 1M, etc., it's easy for you to grab those pieces, okay? Now, if you're not too particular like me and you're like, hey, everything matches, it's going to work out in the end and no one's going to see the original, like, who cares? So that's my advice, because I know some of you might be watching me right now going, oh my goodness, she's breaking all the rules. What on earth? These are from Project 3. Okay, so this is what I'm left with, and I'm chucking that out. We have the dove right here. I'll probably pop that guy up because he kind of gets lost in the background. That. Okay, so we need some more of these leaves. That one. And a smaller one. And a small one. That's gonna go there. That's it for leaves. We need some hearts. One goes here. One goes over here. There's only 2. Okay, let's use some dimensionals to pop this up. I think that's okay. You know what? I'm going to stick one under here just to make sure that it doesn't touch the photo mat where we don't want it. And then this little guy, or this little gal, let's pop her up. These pages, this is always the case with these kits. The pages are so much nicer in person. Love it. Okay, so we have done the first layout. Isn't that nice? I love it. Love the different colors. We're about, I don't know, we're a little ways in, but let's keep going because this is going pretty well. Prepare for both pages. Adhere photos. Okay, we're not doing that. Flag one short end of 2C, 2D, and 2H, and both short ends of 2F. Oh, okay. Flag them. Okay. They're talking about these strips here. So it looks like our base for the pages is going to be Secret C. Adhere. Okay. Very nice. These are going to go very quickly. Okay. So let's get the first page going. Oh, you know what? I forgot something on this page here. My bad. These little things. Sorry, ladies. One on each page. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put a little adhesive on the end. And the part that I ripped, we're not even going to see, so that works out pretty good. That goes there. And then this other one is to go here. So, sorry, we're doing a little rewind here. There. Okay, no leftover pieces. It's like IKEA furniture, right? We don't want any leftover hardware. Okay, so page 2. All the pieces I cut for page 2 and the pieces that I brought out are here. Okay, remember our very first cut? So it looks like this is gonna go like this on the page. And then page 2, it's gonna go on the bottom, the other one. So I'm just gonna lay that over here. So when I need to get it out of the way anyway, so we'll do that. And then it's saying, adhere, okay, flag one short end of 2C, 2D, and 2H. Where is 2H? 2H must be over here. Yes, 2H is there. Okay, so we're just gonna, when they say flag it, what they mean, remember we had these little wee pieces here? We had this one, and this one. Okay, so there's all different kinds of ways to do this, and some people overthink it, and some people just do it. So whatever your style is, you know what? You can flag your end and call it a day. Doesn't have to be rocket science. Okay, so there, we've done that. Let's move these out of the way. First step is to adhere this giant diagonal piece down. I never use a half sheet of DSP like this, but I like it. I think I just don't think about it. Okay, so we're gonna put this right here. I'll try not to get my head in there. Do you know what? I'm gonna do it this way and turn the page, because then I don't have to get my head right over there. So we'll put it on a corner and a corner and a corner. There. Beautiful. So there is our quarter. Now adhere 2A to the base page. So 2A is this corner one we just did. Adhere prepared 2B. So 2B is the 8.5 by 8.5. And it says prepared because up here it asked us to put the photos on. So with this one, there's no photo mats, but will it, this might be a good chance, a good time to use these, because otherwise, you know, it gives you a little guidance later on when your pages are done and you're like, what were we supposed to do with this one? Because, you know, you're not looking at the instructions at that time. So let's put our photo mats on there. Just to make it easier. And I'm just going to move this over a little wee bit. Yeah, just so when we go back, it's easier to see, you know, and that doesn't mean that you're locked in. You can take these off and not put 4x4 photos, or you can put a big one. It just kind of gives you a little bit of a guideline. Okay, so now it's prepared, right? It's prepared the way that they suggested. So let's stick this down. And line up tip. I'm gonna align the corners with the corner. That way, ta-da! We should have equidistance all the way around. Okay. Adhere prepared 2C and prepared 2D as shown. Okay, so let me quickly just check 2C and 2D. Yeah, 2C. Okay, good. So this one is gonna go 1.5 inches from the end, and the 2D is gonna go 1 1/8. So I'm looking at my instructions here. It's looking to me like this is approximately here, lined up with the edge of the picture, and I'm happy with that. And this little guy is right below it, and he is overlapping just a bit. We've got good times. We've got little sprigs. Did they all go in the same direction? They do, okay. So we've got some little sprigs. We've got some leaves. Again, I am gonna stick this down, this dimensional down, so that when this is mounted, it doesn't stick right heavily down, okay? And then we need this and this. So I'm just sticking these down according to the photo. I'm just kind of tucking things under before I stick this down on where I'm going to want them to end up. These little guys. One of the things that might be good to use here too would be the Tombow glue, just because some of these pieces are smaller. And if you notice when I'm using my adhesive, I'm using it off the page because, you know, a little bit goes all over the place, but that's okay. I'm throwing my sheet out when I'm done, so. Okay, one more flower here. Let's use a small one and put it peeking out from there. Okay, I think I should stick this up, even though it's not my favorite, because there's so many things underneath it that, and because it's gonna get squished down with the pages, put a little bit extra than I normally would. try not to get my dimensional backs everywhere, even though they will surely end up everywhere. Well, how'd that happen? Oh, maybe this is one of those weird, every now and then, it's very rare, but every now and then I'll get a dimensional where I can't get the back off. Did it come off? Like, that's so strange. I don't know what happened. Let's get another one. Okay, good times, good times. There we go. That was like the quickest page ever. Right? Oh, look. There's a little cluster up here that I almost forgot. And then 1, 2. Stick this guy up. And this guy we could put right down because he's going up here. There. Ta-da! Love it. All right. Let's move on to the right page. So we're going to start off by gluing this down. This is weird. There's something on this page. I don't know if it's supposed to, I'm sure it's probably supposed to be like that, but put lots of glue on this. We don't want her to move. Oh boy. So one trick about gluing a large piece like this, somebody said, oh, I would never use tape runner. I would always use white glue because you can, you know, slide it around a little bit. That's a great tip. I kind of forget that sometimes, but okay. So adhere 2E to the base page. This is 2E. And then adhere the prepared 2F, 2G, and 2H. So that's the little flags. 2F. 2F is a long one. Oh boy, guess what I did? I should have stuck this down first. Or no. Two F, 2G, and 2H. Oh yeah, okay, so 2F, 2G, and 2H. So that is interesting. They want us to put this underneath here, but then you barely see it. You know, I kind of think it should go there. What do you guys think? I don't know. I mean, you barely see it. So, let me think. I think I'm going to put it on top of the crumb cake. I know that's not like what they want, but I'd rather see it. It's almost like it's not long enough. I'll do what they say. I'll follow the rules. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to put this like this. This says it's, look, let's read the instructions. This might be helpful. 4 inches from the end. 4 inches from the end to here. Okay. 4 inches. So right there. 4 inches. And then this one is 1 1/8. No, 1 3/4. So right there. And then 3/4 of an inch from the bottom. So right there. Okay, let's color. Good. This is how you scrapbook very quickly. Okay, and then this little guy's gonna peek out up here. This is gonna go here. We've got 2 photos, one here, one here. Now, the photo down here is an odd, maybe it's a 3x4. Yeah, I bet you it is, like that. Okay, so let's put these down. Again, we should probably prepare this for later. For when we have photos. It's a good guideline. And it's a good guideline when you have other things to add. So, like this. Okay. Now I need a little birdie and a little sprig. So I'm not sure if the bird's supposed to be carrying this or what the deal is. I think so. Okay, and then from here, we're gonna take this. We have 1 flower and 1 sprig left. Well, we have 2 sprigs. Missing a sprig somewhere. I'm not sure where, but we'll go back after and look. Okay. So there's that. I stuck a couple dimensionals down. We're going to put this here. And this here. And that's page 2. That was like super quick and very, very nice. I like them. Okay, so we have 1 2-page spread left. The 3rd 2-page spread. I have a flower and a sprig left. I'm gonna set those aside. I don't know where they go, but I'm sure it will be made clear. Okay, so we're gonna get our pieces for the 3rd page. And I'm just tidying up a little bit here. I got stuff everywhere, so excuse me for just one moment. The only thing we're left with is the crumb cake, so I'm guessing this is going to be the background. So we got crumb cake. This is what we have left for the stickers. And sorry, I'm just grouping myself here for 1 second. Okay, so let's start. We've got our left page here. And we're gonna need this strip. Now, the other thing again, it's showing us that emboss folder. So what they are suggesting, if you so choose, you can take these triangles and emboss. And as you can see here, it's actually very nice. Yeah, that's very nice, but I'm not gonna do it just because not everybody has that. So if you're coming to my house to do it, you can do it here. I have that emboss folder. And if you have it at home, you can do it, but I'm not going to do it on these pages. So, prepare both pages. Adhere the photos on 3E, L, M, and N. Okay, so this is one of them that they want us to prepare the photos. Let me just, so we have a 4x6 and a 3x3. And it's looking to me like this goes here. So let's go ahead and adhere those down. With it looks like about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Okay. Oh, maybe these ones are right up against each other. Okay, so that's the 3L, 3M. Okay, so it's telling us to prepare all of the photos. So that's for the first page. Put it over here. And then the other pecan pie are this one, and this one. So I'm guessing that we have that, and we have that. So in this case, these photo mats come in very handy because this makes it easy to see what's going on when you're not using your photos right at the time of creating your pages. I was talking with someone the other day who come over, and they asked me with a process I scrapbook. And for me personally, when I scrapbook, it's like I'm making giant cards. I never use my photos when I'm doing them. It's like a giant card, and then I go after and add the photos. So it's kind of nice to have that guidance, you know? All right, so let's go back to the left page. We have prepared our photos. We're gonna flag one short end of 3F and 3G and both ends of 3I. All right, so let's play the guessing game now. Just by looking, I would say this is one of them, and this is another one of them, and then this is the third one. Okay, so we're gonna flag. We're gonna flag this guy. He's just gonna barely stick out. Okay, and then we're gonna flag this one. That's for the left-hand page. Now the right-hand page is a little bit trickier because it's this big long one. So I can't do the right because it's gonna show bad when I make my usual mistake. So this is 4 1/4. I'm gonna mark it at 2 1/8 and 2 1/8, which is half, right? It's just the half mark. And then I'm just gonna cut up, oh, I don't know, 1/2 inch, if I had to guess, 1/2 inch. And then I'm gonna use this side. It's a little bit easier to see. Actually, let's make this really clear for us. I'm gonna take that end of that mark to the edge of here and draw a line. Because, like I said, this is gonna really show up. So we don't want it to be, you know, yucky. We don't want it to be yucky. So I'm lining this up with the end of my little cut to the end, the corner of the sheet. Okay, corner of the sheet. And of course, it's not a science. I'm doing this fairly quickly, so, but it's gonna be much better than just winging it completely. I don't know if you can see my pencil line, but There. That's pretty darn good. So that's for the second page. Now, let's put it all together. So it says, use light crumb cake cardstock for your base. Oh, I'm glad I read that, because I was just going to use the dark. Let's use the light. Adhere 3A, 3B, prepared 3C and D. Okay, so we're going to do this, and then the prepared, if you so choose, was this. 3C and 3D. Okay, so 3 H's for that page. So 3C, 3H. Okay, I see. It goes like this, underneath this. Gotcha. Okay, so let's start gluing things down. We've got this piece, the cloud cover cross hatched, like that's a mouthful, right beside it. And then I'm going to measure these because I know this is going to be important to a lot of you. So let's go 3. We want 2 3/8 from the top. 2 and 1, 2, 3/8 approximately. And then 2 7/8 from the side. So 2 7/8, right before 3. Okay, so that's where this piece is. Now this one is going to go under here. And then there's a half circle in the stickers that we're going to slide under here. So I'm going to tack this down. And then we can come back to it if need be. And stick it down again. Okay, so this half circle is going to cover up the edge of this piece, right? So let's go ahead and stick this down, just so it's peeking out about that far, about 1/2 inch. We're going to stick this down. I would say center it from the top to the bottom, just so it almost reaches the end. And then we're going to tuck these down underneath. We got, this one is going to cover up just the edge. This is going to go over, and underneath it is this little tag. Oh. This little tag here from the sticker sheet. Oh, you know what I'm doing? I'm tucking all these in when I should be putting this first. And I'm not reading the instructions, you can tell. This is supposed to go this way, which it's not that big of a deal, but put that beside there. Put a little more adhesive on this. Okay, so this is going to go here. It overlaps on each side just a bit. We're going to put this right like this so it hides that end and it sticks up. Then we're going to put this little tags to make it look like it's popping out from behind the photo mats. And then we're going to put this guy right here. Okay, and then since we know where all that's gonna go. Let's stick this down. I'm gonna reinforce this just a little bit. Center that. There we go. Okay, so we need a few of these die cuts that we popped out from the die cut page. So we have those two. We have Best Day Ever. We have a dove, and then another little, here it is, a little starburst or whatever it is. We're gonna put that there. Now, you can take your time, again, like I was saying, add dimensionals to everything. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I will add a couple just to make it a little bit interesting. After being in page protectors for a while, I don't know how much of this we're gonna get to see popped up, but this little guy, I'm gonna put the dimensionals on the tree so the picture's left untouched. I'll put this there. All right, there's the left page, just like that, lickety split. Okay, so let's pull the next one over. We're gonna use the light side. And my piece went flying. Okay, so let's line these up on the right-hand side now. There we go. This is gonna go down 4 3/4 from the right side. So let's go 4 3/4, and then 3/4 from the top. So basically, I'd say that it's gonna be centered from the top and the bottom. 4 3/4. Yeah, about there. Okay, and then we're gonna get our photos. Just place them. And we're gonna need some goodies from over here. So we're gonna stick, first off, we're gonna stick this guy. So let me see. 7/8 from the bottom and 3/4 from, this would be, oh, I got a little overzealous with the, so we're about there. 3/4 inches from the, I need to bring this over. 3/4 of an inch from the edge. Okay, so we're gonna stick this down. What's gonna happen here is this is gonna frame the 3x3. And then we're gonna hide the edge with the half circle, like that. And then this cute little chubby tree is gonna go right there over top of those. So let's go ahead and stick these down. Okay. So and then I'm gonna stick this down. I'm gonna line up the left-hand side here. And then this tree, well, this tree's supposed to pop up, but I'm thinking maybe we need to move this over a little bit. Because we really want to see it. We want it to pop out. It's only a half circle. And the other thing is, I am going to put some dimensionals on it because I really want it to not interfere with the photos. So let's stick this down and this down. If you guys are not using your edges of your dimensionals, you need to, because they come in handy. There we go. And then we have another one of these little starbursts. So I'm going to stick that directly on this tree right there. Okay. So we've got that guy on dimensionals. I think maybe we'll stick one dimensional right here in between the photo mats there. Okay. So far we have the left side done. We're gonna put one of these up here so we can label the photo. We're gonna put the big tall skinny tree right here. I'm gonna stick it right down, and then the shorter one right here, and then our Happy Days sticker is gonna go kind of underneath here, just like that. My goodness. And that's it. So there's a couple of things left on here. I'm not sure what goes where. You know what, I'll probably go afterwards and find some place to put those, just so I can make sure that I didn't miss anywhere. So that's it. There's the number 3. Here's the number 2. And here is the number 1. Wow, that was quick and easy. I want you guys to please comment and tell me 2 things. Number 1, which layout is your favorite? And number 2, would it be more helpful if I left the cutting out? The cutting and the prep of the pieces, because now you know what to do. So let me know, and thank you. Enjoy doing your pages, and thanks for joining the club. Bye.